color theory. We know that our primaries are yellow, blue, and red, and that when we combine them together, we get our secondaries, green, purple, and orange. We also know that each secondary has a complementary color, or a color that is across from it on the color wheel. So the complement to green is red, purple is yellow, orange is blue. And when we combine all of the primaries together, we get gray. This is why when we combine complementary colors, we're graying one of the colors. So when I add green to red, I make it darker and I make it more gray because what I'm really adding is yellow and blue. This applies to all of the other colors. Now what we don't cover in Art 1, but what we're really going to be exploring with oil paint, is that each color has a warm and a cool version. And manipulating warm and cools in your painting is crucial for getting a really beautiful, rich look. This is just a basic overview. These are the colors that we're going to be using in class, but when you go buy paint at a store, there are a ton of different yellows. There's lemon yellow and there's Naples yellow. There's tons of different yellows, but these are really the basics. I'm not going to make you memorize these, but I do want you to be familiar with them at least by the end of the semester. So for yellow, we have yellow ochre, which is warmer, and cadmium yellow, which is cooler. For red, we have cadmium red, that it's warmer, and alizarin crimson, that's cooler. And for blue, we have cobalt blue, which is warmer, and cerulean blue, which is cooler. For the secondaries, the same thing applies, but you're going to be mostly mixing your secondaries, so I'm not going to go over them in detail. So for now, these are the only ones that you have to remember. When you go over to get your paint, you'll see that I have the colors listed and organized, and it'll say warm or cool. So this is important because when we start painting with color, I'm going to have you working with a limited palette. And a limited palette means that you just have a warm and cool of the primary colors, plus white, plus raw umber, which is a neutral brown, on your palette. This means that you're mixing your secondaries, and you can mix warm and cool secondaries because you have warm and cool primaries on your palette. The reason why I have you do this is so you really understand where your colors are coming from, the color relationships. You have greater control over your palette because you made everything. There's less of a chance for you to overmix. I also eventually think this is a quicker way to paint. This chart is from about 2 years ago, and we were using different primaries at the time. But what it's illustrating is the different color that you get when you combine warm primaries versus combining cool primaries. So here, combining warm primaries, we have a warm orange. And here, when we combine our cool primaries, we get a cool orange. These colors to the right are just what happens when you add its complement. So to this cool orange, I've added a cool blue, the cerulean blue, to make it cooler and to make it deeper. And here I'm just adding the warm one. When you do your next exercise, you're welcome to choose a combination of warm or cool primaries. So you can use 2 warm primaries and 1 cool, or all warm or all cool. It doesn't matter to me too much. I just want you to be aware that there is a difference. So if you're painting something and you want to make it really bright and really warm, you probably shouldn't be using a bunch of cool primaries, and vice versa.